Hello, Rebbl! This is FullMetalCOS. Welcome to the first episode of Foul Language. 16 turns on the pitch with... and this week it's me. So it's 16 turns on the pitch with FullMetalCOS. It's the first one. We've decided to do a weekly interview situation, and I'm the kind of guy that is not going to ask anyone else to do something I wouldn't do. So the very lovely Mr. Harringzord. Say hello, sir.
Hello.
I'll try not to talk over you again, I do apologise.
No
the very lovely Mr. Harringzord has agreed to interview me, whereas normally I'll be the interviewer. We've had some questions up on Reddit. Thank you everyone who's submitted them. We have got in the background a quick video of the Green Bay Packmasters, which is my team obviously, playing against Demu's Oregon Remnants, one of my favourite opponents, and that's kind of why I've put it in there. Especially because he did ask on the questions, who is your favourite opponent and why is it me? I was like, you know what, just because he had the balls to ask that, I'm gonna put his game up on the background, you know?
Just as a point, did you win that game?
Well, yes, I did.
So that'll be why.
Yeah, one of the only games I've won this. I think the only other game I've won this season is the bye week, but I've had a very bad season. It's not been fun. I missed a lot of games because I was sick, actually. So, a quick introduction to me. My name's Stephen. Some of you know me as FullMetalCOS, the Twitch TV kind of streamer. Very small, but very, very great community I've got there. Some of you will know me from the recaps or as the league commissioner or as that guy that really, really gets angry when you don't roll level ups or have really badly organised players or don't pick a leader. Or do pick a rat ogre. I'm 33. I'm from the UK. Based in a town, well, in a city known as Liverpool. You may have heard of it, you may not. We had like the Beatles and Liverpool and Everton and other such interesting things that I don't really care about. And yeah, I've got an ex-wife, which again was a shock to a lot of people. I'm 33, you know, everyone's got a bit of history by that point. And I think that covers all of the basic, this is who I am. So if you'd like to take over, Mr. Harringzord, it's now your show.
All right, well, let's see how that goes then, eh? Right, so what I have done is I've collected all the questions, and there were some tremendous questions on that subreddit, I must say. So I've got all them together. I've tried to organise them the best I can. So we will start with question one, which came from Brain on Slugs, who is the coach of DAC Confederacy in the Big O. Okay. And he has said, how did you get into Blood Bowl?
Well, I actually got into Blood Bowl. I've been in Blood Bowl for a very, very long time. I remember actively remember Games Workshop abandoning it. In fact, I remember Jervis Johnson posting a statement saying, yes, Blood Bowl will be a permanent lineup item on our lineup. And then 2 years later, Blood Bowl disappeared from all stores everywhere. Oopsie.
Sounds about right.
But I've started... one of my friends introduced me to Warhammer Fantasy way back at the tender age of about 13. So we're talking 20 years. And I was instantly hooked. I've always loved like fantasy stories and stuff. The model quality was amazing. I first saw Chaos and I saw like a Bloodthirster model and a Great Unclean one and a Changer of the... And I was just like, yeah, I want to play this. I need to have this in my life. But I got kind of bored of of Warhammer Fantasy. It was a bit too big units swinging around. And I played Chaos for a bit. I played Bretonnians. I had an all-Goblin army, which was kind of comical and led me on to my favourite Blood Bowl team. But then I got into 40k. Went heavily on 40k. Played a bunch of 40k armies. I played most 40k armies at some point. And then I just started going through the kind of the side stuff. So I played Epic. I played Battlefleet Gothic. You know, Necromunda, all those things. And then I found Blood Bowl and was like, that sounds like too much fun. Because, you know, I was quite sporty when I was younger, so it was like, it's a lot like rugby, only I get to murder people, and with orcs and goblins and chainsaws, and where do I sign up? And it kind of just evolved from there, really. I took a break when I dropped out of Games Workshop after I got priced out the game. And then when I saw Blood Bowl 2 come out, I was like... I missed Blood Bowl 1 because I was really put off by the console version, which I did pick up. And the console version was truly awful. If you've ever played that Blood Bowl 1 on a 360, I truly feel for you.
I wasn't even aware that had come out on console.
It had, and it was terrible. It was so bad. It was just horrible. No. And, yeah, it kind of just evolved from there. When I saw Blood Bowl 2 came out, instantly pre-ordered it, and... reignited my love affair for the game.
Yeah, there we go then. Okay, moving on. Question 2 comes from Demu. And I've put two of these together. He has asked, what is your favourite piece and what is your favourite skill?
Ooh. My favourite piece is probably the werewolf.
I think I would agree with that.
Just because, I mean, they do everything. They're so good. Agi and, Agi access on a guy with Frenzy and Claw out the box. Regen. Great start line. If you get a double on them, they're just monstrous. If I was to say like a big guy, I'm gonna kind of just say, if it was a big guy, it'd probably be the Tree Man because it kept my Wood Elves alive so much on tabletop. But no, as a standard player, werewolves every damn day.
Yeah, a team full of werewolves would do some serious damage.
And your favourite skill, did you ask as well?
Yeah, favourite skill.
Okay, well, surprisingly, not leader. That may come as a shock to a lot of people, but I really love Leap.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing in the game is as good at causing complete shenanigans and tearing an opponent's plans apart as Leap is.
It's just rage-inducing, isn't it?
It's when you get like a War Dancer or something like that, or who has like Agi plus. If you get an Agi plus War Dancer and then jump inside of a cage and strip ball their ball carrier and then run off, it's like, I hate you. I hate everything about you. Rah! Table flipping, and I used it a lot on tabletop with my War Dancers and upset people. It was beautiful.
All right then, question 3. I'm going to throw my own question here.
Ooh.
There we go. Right. So I'm going as well. We're currently watching the Green Bay Packmasters, who I believe have one game left.
Yes, Kejiroos.
Before they are retired.
In about 3 hours.
Well, there you go. The final moments of the Green Bay Packmasters. Who's been your favourite player on that team?
It's Ratatouille, without a shadow of a doubt. Plus strength, plus Agi, gutter runner, with leap. He is surprisingly good. Sure hands on an Agi 5 just means you can do whatever you want. It's very, very difficult to stop that guy when he gets going. I'd love to pretend it was Julius, because he has got Claw Palm and Tackle, but he's so useless. But yeah, Ratatouille, even with the movement bust, I couldn't sack him. He's too much fun.
There we go then. Right. Okay. Question 4 comes from Kool-Aid.
Okay.
It's a multiple choice question, this one as well. Is playing Blood Bowl a form of torture? Yes, absolutely, or oh god, the pain.
I did actually see this question. I kind of looked through the questions. I'm not gonna lie, I did look through the questions, and I have to say it's all of those in Col. League play is none of those. League play is always fun to my mind, even when you're getting hammered, because you build up relationships with the other players and things like that. But in Col, yes, it's absolutely all 3 of those. So I'm going to pick all 3 answers. And none of them, technically.
Right, next question is from King of the Cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
What team have you had the best time with in Blood Bowl?
Ooh, Goblins. Goblins, because it doesn't matter.
I'd say that.
Win, draw, lose, it does not matter. It is always utterly hilarious. It doesn't matter. Even when you pick up a bomb and launch it and then get a 1 and actually bomb yourself in the face, that's funny. Even if your chainsaw tries to kill their best player, falls over and guts himself, you laugh. The Goblins are one of those teams that no matter how bad it's going, you're always giggling at what's going on with your team. I can't say, I can't imagine you have a bad time if you play Goblins. And if
as long as you're not looking to win, then you're absolutely fine.
Well, you've seen my results this season. I'm not necessarily looking to win. But yeah, it's just if you're not having fun with Goblins, you're probably playing them wrong.
Okay, right. We will move on to the next question, which comes from Squiggy.
I saw a lot. Squiggy did a lot of good questions. Actually.
He did. It has taken quite a bit of work to pick out the best of these. So he has asked, how would you explain Blood Bowl to someone who has never played a fantasy type game before in under 30 seconds?
Now, I had two answers to this one. I've got a serious answer and a less serious answer that I think is probably the better answer.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the serious answer first. It's basically NFL meeting high fantasy. You know, it's like the Vikings versus the Packmasters. Only the Vikings are dwarves, the Packmasters are rats. The ball is spiky as all hell, and the players are not just allowed but invited to kill and maim each other. And it's got dice in it.
It works for me.
The fun, and I think probably more honest answer is, it's a lot like having sex with Scarlett Johansson, only every 6 seconds someone hits you in the face with a baseball bat.
Right, yeah, I don't know if I can confirm or deny whether that is something I would agree with.
How I would imagine. I want to confirm I've never had sex with Scarlett Johansson, but it's how I would imagine it to be. Fantastic, and then terrible, and then fantastic again, and then terrible again.
I don't know if that was a question, whether you'd had sex with Scarlett Johansson, but there we go. Bonus questions for all.
Bonus answers, yeah? Extra. I give it a little bit more.
Right, next question, which I believe we're on to number 7 now, comes from Twelfthman.
Our guest from Anything But a One, the podcast.
Yes. Currently not a coach. I say currently not a coach in Rebbl. But I'm sure we'd like to change that.
I'd love to, but unfortunately it seems that his brig will not run Blood Bowl. Donations in the post to Twelfthman, by the way, if you've got any spare parts. Because I'd love to have him on. He just seems like a really nice guy. I actually got talking to him because he invited me onto his podcast, which should be next week. So I invited him into the community to check us out, and he decided to jump in and ask some questions, which I'm cool with.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Okay, so he asked, Games Workshop come up to you and say, right, we're letting you remove one skill from the game, any skill, but the rest of the game remains unchanged. So he said, which skill do you pick? But I would take the caveat there that we'll not pick something like, you know, tentacles or safe throw. Let's have something you might actually use.
As a skill, that's a tough one. I believe, was it not the original question, not rule, skill, race, or piece? Or was that somebody else's question?
Not according to my copy-paste of this.
Well, that might have been someone else's question then, because...
Possibly, yeah.
Yes, no, it was. But no, he actually asked just the skill. I know somebody else asked, what would you remove if it was everything? In which case the answer was illegal procedure, because it's a dumb rule. On tabletop, if you've played tabletop. But no, it was just skill. I apologise for trying to do your job for you, sir.
No problem.
And for me, honestly, Nerves of Steel.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's I know it does enable some fantastic nonsense plays, but at the same time, it kind of feels to me like it's hey, I screwed up really badly, misplayed it, but hey, in my pocket, I've got a get out of jail free card. And
I know what you mean.
I don't know. I feel I don't like Nerves of Steel. I know it's a good skill. I know it's useful. And you've just seen, by the way, in the background, an amazing leap nonsense play by Ratatouille. You can check it out when you see the video. But that right there is why I love Leap, guys.
Yeah, I know what you mean about Nerves of Steel. To me, it seems like it's, you don't need to protect your ball carrier too much anymore.
Yeah.
You can just throw him in any old place. He gets surrounded, and out pops the ball.
Doesn't matter. Nerves of Steel. It's as I say, it feels like it's a skill. It can be used amazingly well, but mostly it feels like a skill that is used to cover sloppy play.
Well, of course, I do say that as a dwarf coach. And what is a pass?
Well, you know what? One of the furthest passes in Rebbl last season. In fact, the coach with the most passing yards in the entire Rebbl last season when we were doing the end of season and rewards was a dwarf team.
Oh, but there you go. And I do say that with the full knowledge that my dwarf team is capable of some horrendous turn 8 plays. They basically mess up for 7 turns and then just throw it half the length of the field on the last turn. It'll be Troll Slayer picking it up and handing it off to a blitzer who throws it to a runner stood in the end zone, and you kind of wonder, saying, well, what was it all that bashing for,
So what you're saying is Nerves of Steel confirm next skill up in your team?
Absolutely, yes.
As long as they don't let me remove it.
Right, okay, so the last question on Pure Blood Bowl.
End of the first half, is this?
Yes.
Turn 8 nonsense players are aware.
Okay, so what do you prefer? The question comes from Thalric, coach of the Diving Hawks.
Okay.
What do you prefer? Win a single match at any cost, or take a potential loss to preserve an important player that you would have to risk otherwise?
Win. Win, win, win. Win, 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 win. Walk over the bodies of the slain to get the damn touchdown. This
Yeah,
is not an
I agree.
RPG, and I really hate players who do play the pixel huggy, I need all the skills in the world kind of thing. If you lose your best player to win a game, you won the game. So it doesn't matter. You can always rebuild your best player. You can't delete losses from your record.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, what's the point in having that amazing player if you don't use him? Like, what's the point in lining him up on the field every week and just saying, "Oh, well, we'll just leave him at the back here so he doesn't die"? There's no point. You might as well have a zero SPP player that you just throw in harm's way.
You're exactly correct. I mean, like I say, the game is Blood Bowl. There's going to be blood, but the objective, every coach should walk in every game saying, I want to win this game.
Yeah,
And if they
exactly
don't,
right.
what's the point?
Well, unless you're one of these chaos murder teams that is just there to spoil all of the fun. Or, a dwarf team.
Yeah, who just spoil all the fun by being existing.
Yes. Well, no comment. Okay, right. So the next set of questions are all on sort of your role as an admin or anything to do with Rebbl itself.
Okay.
And the first one comes from Ears of the Wolf,
Okay.
who asks, how did you and the other admins of Rebbl first meet?
Well, I was kind of a little bit late to the party. I joined Rebbl before it was Rebbl, when it was just Rel G-Man in season 1 as a coach, just a coach. And there was unfortunately some issues with one of the other admins. There was some, there was generally unhappiness. I'm not going to go into the details, but there was some drama back in the day. And I contacted Gamba and said, look, I think we should do this. We should maybe implement this rule and this rule. And it's when the kind of rule where admins don't admin their own leagues came about.
Yeah.
So we have, the G-Man admins look after the Big O and the Rel, but they don't make decisions on the G-Man. Everyone else makes decisions on the G-Man. And that was kind of my idea originally. And basically I just suggested a few ideas to streamline and the running of the league, make us a bit more transparent. And Gamba went, I like you, come and play. come and join the admin team. And basically I accidentally kind of just bumbled into the admin team, realised me and Gamba get on ridiculously well. And just went, and basically from there the recaps were born. I mean, Gamba was always doing the recaps, but then we talked about it and we kind of changed the form, played with the format a bit, and we're playing with the format a bit more next season, as you're aware. There's a lot of exciting changes coming to the recaps. And then we just went, we need more and a lot of the admins he brought were actually, some of the admins he brought were from the Blood Bowl 1 version of the Rel G-Man, and we kind of just went on from there and grew the admin team from players who were willing to do that little bit more or help out that little bit, and we kind of just, people who we lean on a little bit too much end up being admins.
I think that makes sense, really. I know I wouldn't imagine anyone ever goes into a league unless you're setting it up saying, right, I'm going to be an admin here within a season and a half. I imagine it is one of those things that just happens.
I think it was about a season, yeah. I was only a normal coach for about a season and just backdoored into it accidentally. So,
all right, there we go. Right, next question comes from Soul of Dragonfire, coach of Yeti to Party. I sound a bit like Jeremy Corbyn. Reading all of these questions like this.
This is Prime Minister's Question Time with Harringzord.
Okay, which two teams, other than your own? Now, I don't know whether you asked this on the full knowledge that you won't be making the playoffs this season. Which two teams would you most like to see in the Rebbl Super Bowl?
I would love to see Luminous make it. Not just because he's a fellow admin, or a fellow rat coach, but he's a phenomenal season coach.
Luminous is Pastry Pest, right?
Luminous Light and Pastry Pest, yeah. Who've just retired Lemming Drop, rest in peace, that little fellow, is going to make it harder for him in playoffs. But Luminous is a phenomenal season coach. He's so consistent. but then for some reason he always seems to stall out in the first or second round of the playoffs. And I kind of feel like he, given the chance, I think he'd be a phenomenal representative for the Rebbl, but he never. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the pressure. I don't know if it's anything like that. He just seems to struggle when he hits playoffs.
Well, it's a dice game. I mean, it could just be a dicing thing, but fingers crossed. I think his record is at 5-5-0 at this point. He might have played his 11th game. I'm not sure, but
I think he's in position to go to playoffs. Sorry, I do apologise. I think I talked.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm just saying to be in undefeated with a Skaven team at this point is very good going, because there are some Skaven teams who've taken a right old beating this season.
Yeah, there are Skaven teams that even when you put all their players together would between two teams not make a full team.
Yeah, true that.
But yeah, I think I'd love to see Luminous do well, and from the G-Man, I'd love to see Kejaruz, because again, he seems to be always the bridesmaid. He's a great coach. I love to play Kejaruz because it's always one of the hardest games I ever have to play. I know there's a lot of nonsense regarding his super silly imports at the moment and things like that, but he's a phenomenal guy. He's a lovely guy. He's one of my favourite guys to play against because we just have a good laugh whenever we play. And he seems to, again, just like Luminous, stall in the playoffs even after playing a phenomenal season.
All right, so in Full Metal's world, the Super Bowl final will be Pastry Pests versus the Mount Lamini Coldbloods. There we go. And
I think the Pastry Pests would take it because I still don't think Kejaruz has enough tackle yet. And he also gives away far too many inducements.
Right, those two teams can consider themselves cursed.
Sorry, lads, you're out in the first round.
All right, so Squiggy is back again. Has asked, what first possessed you to move towards the admin content side of the game instead of just playing more matches in your free time? So I guess we can elaborate on what you've previously said and just say what sort of brought around things like the recaps and that sort of thing.
I am a bad geek. I'm a proper bad geek. I'm not gonna lie. I'm into comics and city movies and tabletop. We were all pretty much geeks if we're playing Blood Bowl and kind of getting into this. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
there's not really much of an argument to be made there.
And I, so as a geek, we tend to get quite passionate about stuff, and that's kind of just what happened. Is that when I backdoored into it with a couple of good suggestions, and then he went, "Hey, dude, come join the admin team." I was like, okay. And Insanity, pretty much. Just went from there. I'm also really good at... I'm kind of like the face, for want of a better term. I suppose I'm the face of the admin team in that, whenever someone's got a problem, they come to me. Whenever someone's got a complaint, they come to me, because I'm quite experienced at putting out fires. I worked in a high street bank in the telephone team of complaints for four straight years. So I'm pretty good at dealing with complaints and stuff and fixing problems, and I think that's kind of, I just applied that to being an admin.
Transferable skills, yeah.
And as I say, I'm insane, and Gamba promised sexual favours.
Well, I mean, I couldn't possibly comment on that.
Oh, I could. It was fantastic. I mean, what? Yeah.
Right, okay. Last question from this category, which I believe, if my maths is right, and I bloody hope it is question 12.
Okay.
What Rebbl admin tasks take much more time than people might think? That comes from Riff Cannon.
Honestly, and this is a little bit of a sensitive question, I suppose, it's making Gamba believe his value as a human isn't being questioned every time someone gets sad about something in the league. That takes a long
Gamba.
time. No, Gamba's a lovely guy. Gamba is one of the nicest people I've ever met, and he's genuinely become one of my closest friends, even though he lives at the opposite side of the world. I love him to bits. But Rebbl G-Man is his baby. He spends so much time trying to get everything perfect for everyone. So when something goes wrong and people get angry or upset or sad about it, he really takes it to heart. Not because he thinks you shouldn't have a right to complain or because, anything like that. It's just simply because he cares so much about everyone having a good time and the league itself, that if something goes wrong, he really takes it personally. He really takes it quite badly. So genuinely, he needs a bit of a talking around, and that's, as I say, that's quite an honest and open answer that he may not appreciate me giving, but I'm giving it anyway.
It's good to know that you guys do care about everyone having a good time, and to be honest, I don't think many people would complain, other than maybe having a rough season or anything like that. But in terms of the sort of quantity and the quality of content that you guys spew out every week, it's great stuff.
Well, other than that, yeah, the recaps take a long time. They take a real long time. So we appreciate everyone who does listen, who enjoys them, and also, all the coaches that join us to do them. It's a huge time investment. I mean, you've got to remember that whenever you see them recorded, there's also the time where we set up, where we do the sound checks, where we chat a little bit about what we expect from the other coach. There's the breaks between each filming of them. It's about 4 hours to make the 3 recap videos at the moment, which is a long time.
Yeah, some commitment, that.
So that's probably actually the most lengthy one, but I kind of wanted to just put out there, that we really, really want to, care about you guys having a great time.
Right, well, I think that'll wrap it up for Rebbl questions. So I've got, my last category here is just other, because there's all sorts of weird and wonderful questions in here. So we'll start with this one from Some Kind of Wizard, who asks, where did FullMetalCOS, or FullMetalCOS, however you say it, where did that originate from? Why did you pick it, and did you have any other aliases before?
Yeah, I saw this one and I was like, this is a phenomenal question, and I do hope it gets answered, because a lot of people ask mostly what does the COS stand for, because it is FullMetalCOS, not COS, and basically it's all down to an Xbox 360. When I bought my Xbox, and you need a gamer tag obviously when you set up to go online, so it's been like 10 years it's been my alias, and I just got done watching FullMetalCOS with my girlfriend that I was with at the time. We both bought Xbox 360s at the same time because we were both big gamers. We played online together a lot. So Full Metal is from FullMetalCOS because it's by far my favourite anime. Well, Brotherhood is better than the original series, but you're splitting hairs at that point, And like I said, geek, so anime fan, obviously. COS actually was added later. It comes from a Gears of War 2 clan I was in. We actually used to play, it was a very small clan, but we used to play Guardian on Gears of War 2, and we were basically, there was five players who were all top 100 in Guardian for about 6 straight months. And someone came up with the clan tag COS, so everyone added it to the end of their name. And it's the Conquerors of Shambhalaya.
Of course it is.
Of course. Yeah, I love how you say that, like everyone should have seen that coming.
Come on, guys.
But interestingly, if you see FullMetalCOS on anything, from a mobile phone game to a browser game to any game, it's probably me, because it's never taken. And if somebody takes it now out there, I will find you and I will kill you.
Oh, that's going to happen now you've said that, though. Come on.
No. They're going to challenge me, but no, seriously, if you see a FullMetalCOS on League of Legends, it's me. If you see a FullMetalCOS anywhere, it's almost certainly me. Because, like I say, it's not very... Full Metal is taken a lot, but the COS at the end is never really contested.
Yeah. I've just got this mental image now of Gamba just signing you up for all sorts of shit.
Yeah, there'll be a porn site somewhere with a FullMetalCOS account on there, and then it just goes downhill from there. But as far as other names, either prior to Xbox 360 or in RPGs, I'm usually known as Calgar, which was from Marnius Calgar, the Ultramarines Primarch.
Right.
From Warhammer 40,000, including World of Warcraft, actually, where Calgar was a human paladin with over 250 days worth of playtime. And that's 250 days in hours, so that's 250 times 24. Yes, I played.
So that's plenty.
That was a lot of World of Warcraft. That's a lot of time I ain't getting back.
Yeah, it is true that.
So yeah,
Okay.
you may see a Calgar, and that might be me, but mostly, as I say, it's Full Metal COS.
Right, next question is, what do you play outside of Blood Bowl?
A lot of League of Legends. Because I got addicted and I've spent so much money on it now. You know, it's the free to play game that has not been free to play for me, because I'm the kind of guy that I don't. You know, if I see a game and I'm literally played like 5,000 hours of League of Legends. And when you put that much time into it, I don't mind paying a little bit of cash. You know what I mean, to buy skins and stuff, because you've got that much playtime from what was technically a free game.
Yeah, that's where they get you though, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
But I, mean, I agree with you. To be fair, you end up. I've done similar things with Hearthstone. I've done things like that with Rocket League, where I play a lot of Rocket League. And yeah, when they throw out a new car, I'm like, well, you know what? I don't need that, but
I quite
they've
like
given me
it.
such a good game.
Yeah,
So,
Warframe, I do the
you
same on
can
as well.
have for £1.50. Go on, take it.
Warframe, I've done it as well, but I feel they're a bit more price gougy. They are about to release a new Warframe combination. Like, it's a primed Warframe, a primed and two primed weapons, and some in-game currency, and it's about £70
No thanks.
for one suit and two weapons, and then a bunch of in-game currency. I mean, the in-game currency is worth about £70 on its own,
Yeah.
but I tend to find they're a bit more price gouge. So I've spent some on Warframe, which is another game I play a lot. I play a lot of Marvel Heroes, another free-to-play game I've spent money on.
Yeah.
You seen a pattern here?
Yeah.
And then I kind of tooled around with Evolve a little bit, and I've got to a point where I've almost unlocked everything in Evolve just as they stopped supporting the game, which is maybe a little bit sad, because it's actually quite good fun when you get a team together. Otherwise, I just play whatever I'm playing on stream.
Yeah. All right, I've got 2 questions left, and I really want to ask all of these. So I'm just going to pick this one from... Oh, it's Squiggy again. So I think Squiggy takes the first award for most successful questions. Have you ever been mistaken for anyone famous?
Yes, actually I have. I was once mistaken for Ryan Hurst, who, if you don't know the name, he played Opie in Sons of Anarchy. I was in a nightclub at the time, and he's also a big dude with a beard, and I had my hair cut in a similar style to him. And I'd love to look that good, I'm not gonna lie. He is far better built than I am, but I was incredibly honoured by that, to be honest, because he, as I say, he's a good looking guy, and yeah, I wish I was half that
No,
good.
you could have worse ones than that.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm also glad you answered yes, so that would have been a terrible letdown of a question.
And we would have had to go and kill Squiggy.
Well, I mean, yes.
I'd like to pretend otherwise, but yeah, we would.
That is the risk you take. Okay, and the last question, or short essay, comes from Gengar,
Ooh.
who says, well, the first part of this is, what was the most drunk you ever were? And how did you get there?
I saw this coming up and was like, I know someone's going to answer that, because that's super, super personal, and everyone's going to want to know that story.
This could be a theme, this one, I think, because it could be a running question.
Yeah. Okay, so what was the most drunk you were, and how did you get there?
Yes.
It was my 30th birthday.
Oh, so not long ago.
It's almost 4 years. So quite long.
Well, in the grand scheme of things.
I'm 34 in February. No, the drunkest I've ever been was my 30th birthday, because we actually had... it was scheduled for a Sunday night, and we were supposed to go paintballing in the day and then just go out for the pub in the evening. However, my work decided to schedule a works night out the night before. So I went out on the work with free house wine all night and got absolutely hammered the night before.
That's always dangerous.
Turned up incredibly hungover at paintballing. Went paintballing all day, and then went back out. Went home, had a shower, went to the pub, and sat in a pub and got drunk. And the pub that I like to drink in, one of the pubs I like to drink in Liverpool, it is called the Ship and Mitre, and they regularly have like cider festivals and stuff. and were having a cider. They have like real cask ales and cider, and they had a cider festival, and it was like we're talking like 10% scrumpies.
Oh, so the good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that you have a pint of and you sit there and sip it whilst having your other pint. Because you can't drink it fast or you die. So I worked my way through, and people just kept buying me these different scrumpies. I'm getting drunker and drunker and drunker. And then we go to a tequila bar afterwards, because my mate, who was the first of my friendship group to turn 30, had been taken to the tequila bar about 6 months earlier, and we'd bought him something like a half pint of chili tequila and just wiped him out on that. So
that sounds dreadful.
It's wonderful. I love chili tequila. He does. This is what he really saw his ass about a little bit, because I killed a half pint of chili tequila that he bought me, and felt fine because I love tequila and I love chili. I love hot stuff, so it was like whatever. But then, because he got angry about that, he started going through the flavors and trying to find the worst flavor ever. And
as you do, yeah.
I came back from the bathroom. And he presents me the shot, so I just drink it because you do. It's your birthday, you drink whatever's put in front of you. And it turned out it was baked bean tequila.
Oh, that's a strong effort.
And it wasn't the drunk. And I was really drunk at this point. I'm not going to pretend I wasn't hammered, but I can handle my drink. I don't tend to throw up. But the flavour of this baked bean tequila made me so ill. I instantly was like, I need to go home now, or I'm going to throw up. And I remember getting home, and I remember sitting there on the couch going, oh, I don't feel good. And then I remember waking up the next morning, and I must have thrown up on the way to the bathroom, because you're in your house, so you don't want to just throw up everywhere. So I had my hand over my mouth to try and keep it in. And literally, all the way down the hall, there was these, like, zombie-coloured, luminous orange zombie-type handprints down the hall, as I'd, like, staggered down the hall with this puke all over my hand. And, yeah, it was not a good morning trying to clean that up.
No, I would not have thought so.
But it wasn't drunkenness, it was just... Even now, thinking of baked bean tequila makes me want to throw up a little bit. So don't ever try it, guys.
So it wasn't alcohol, it was baked beans that got you in the end.
Well, there was a lot of alcohol involved.
Right, I think that's full time.
No overtime? Are we playing for overtime? Or?
I think we are going to go for overtime, yes.
Ooh.
So, I gave this some thought.
Okay.
And what I've got is 5 questions, and it's basically just going to be... Imagine you've got a level up that you've rolled straight away, of course.
Okay. Yeah, well, what else do you do? You don't sit on it.
Right, so I'm just going to give you 2 skills.
Okay.
Just pick which one you take.
Alright, fantastic. Any kind of player, or just whatever?
Oh, I mean, how do you want to do it? Do you want to say a ball carrier?
Okay.
No, not a ball carrier. In fact, I tell you what. Let's say a blitzer.
Okay.
Based on the questions I've got here. Right, so strip ball or tackle?
Strip ball. It's more fun.
Every time?
Not every time, but I like tackle, but you only need so much tackle. You don't need dwarf level tackle. And strip ball's more fun. And annoying for the opponent.
Okay. Number 2. So this is probably more on a ball carrier or some sort of catcher. Catch or sprint?
Catch. I hate sprint. Going for it's always fail.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I watched. I was watching the Jungle Corsairs Pembrokeshire Chargers game earlier, and yes, go for it, always fail.
There was a reason we chose to highlight that video. We were told it was absolutely full of nonsense and ones, and it was absolutely full of nonsense and ones.
Something like eight ones or something in the first half.
I think it ended at 16 full time.
That is outrageous.
But yeah, going for it to feel like the 2+ skill that fails 5 out of 6 times.
Yes. Right, okay, number 3, which we'll take for a thrower. I think I know the answer already. Nerves of steel or safe throw?
Safe throw, because I hate nerves of steel. And a safe throw is actually quite good. Because safe throw allows you to do shenanigans. And if you haven't guessed yet, I really like shenanigans.
Yeah, there is a theme there. Right, okay, I guess we'll say we'll say a big guy for this one. Not that you ever run big guys.
Oh, I do, just not rat ogres.
Well, there we go. Grab or juggernaut?
Grab. Juggernaut's fun, but you're wasting your blitz, whereas grab gives you a lot of tactical options, and I also love really shouting, "You can't leave." I want to run a Beast of Nurgle with grab for real comedy,
Yeah, that really would be something.
And then just yell at my opponent every time I block with him. You can't leave.
You got to accept that guy's going to die.
Yeah.
He's just going to become part of the beast.
He basically just gets hugged until he just stops breathing. Yeah, it's funny.
All right, so the last one is from mutation category.
Ooh.
Foul appearance or tentacles?
Tentacles. Because you can't leave!
Same thing then, yeah.
Yeah, all the way. All the way.
If
you can't guess, Harringzord, I'm super looking forward to re-rolling Nurgle next season.
Yes, yeah, I can get that impression at least.
I am fully intending to name the Beast of Nurgle the ex-wife.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't you? Yeah, no, on the tentacles thing, I've got in the sort of little league I run with my mates. There's a Minotaur with tentacles, and it's a monster. I don't know why it's got it, but it's a monster.
Because it's just you sit there next to people until they either get bored of trying to dodge away and try and punch you, or you just slowly kill them.
Looks impressive as well. It's a Minotaur, but you know what? It's also a squid.
A minor squid.
Yes.
A moostopus. A moose and an octopus combined. A moostopus.
No, I think I like minor squid. I'm going to stick with minor squid.
Well, I try. I think we've finished all the time. We survived.
Well, we think we did, yeah.
Well, we'll find out in the comments, I suppose. Thank you so much, Harringzord, for joining us. Guys, if you enjoyed this, please let me know. If you didn't, also please let me know if there's things you'd like to see us change. What I've also committed to doing is, because there was so many good questions, I am going to do a written response to everything that we didn't answer on this. So if you could send me a list of your questions that you've asked, so I don't have to go back over the video and remember them, that'd be fantastic, Harringzord. But I'm going to answer every question because they were great questions, and I really enjoyed reading them. Otherwise...
Yeah, that's, I was just going to say that's not a problem. I'll send that list over to you some point this evening, I imagine.
Alright, fantastic, thank you. And hopefully, if this is successful and you want to see another one, we are planning on having Gamba next week. So I'll post, once the video goes up, I'll post another thread with questions for Gamba. Because, we thought, if we're going to do this, we might as well do the meet the parents, I suppose, before we get all the coaches in.
We can all just give them a big hug afterwards as well.
Oh, yeah, we love Gamba. Alright, well, thank you once again, Harringzord. It's been a genuine pleasure, my friend. Not a problem, yeah, and this was a great idea. I'll certainly be looking forward to seeing more of them. Fantastic. Well, I have been FullMetalCOS. This has been Foul Language, 16 turns on the pitch with FullMetalCOS. I shall see you all next time, folks. Thanks for watching.